This must have been what our founding fathers asked themselves. Talking about Adetokunbo Ademola, Herbert Macaulay, Sardauna of Sokoto, Sir Amadu Bello, Sir Tafawa Balewa, and many others. Nnamdi Azikiwe, of course, who came together to ensure that Nigerians took that courageous step over about 60 years ago, not over. Almost to that day, we'll be marking it very, very soon in just a few days. And we're going over our journey so far. They must have thought, do we have what it takes to move this group of people with diverse cultures forward? Do we have the strength? Do we have the tenacity? Can we bring the ship to shore? And they did it. They took that plan. That is how in these days, Nigerians can gather and celebrate 60. What a gigantic number. Little matter what we have passed through, little matter what we think we're passing through now, there are many reasons to roll out the drums and celebrate those who surged to bring us to the point where we are today. Indeed, we must say, God bless Nigeria. Perhaps that's why a former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, said, it always looks impossible until it's done. Well, it's done. And the onus is on us, as young people, as leaders of tomorrow, to continue to progress this ship called Nigeria to greater, stronger shores. Welcome to Weekend Deal. My name is Thelma Obaza. It's great to have you keep our company today. We started talking about Nigeria, our independence yesterday, and we continue the conversation today. Also bringing on board our tourism sector. What's happening there? How have we managed it? Where are we going with it? And how can we harness its enormous potentials to grow Nigeria's economy? Now, Saint Mandela says, as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. We have let our light shine for 60 years, and that's why we're asking ourselves, how has the journey been so far, especially in the tourism sector? Francis takes a critical look, and he brings this for us.
The drop in global oil price over the past few years has exposed the vulnerabilities of Nigeria's dependence on crude oil revenue. Although much emphasis has been placed on agriculture being the messianic industry, the tourism industry, if revamped, has the potential to attract substantial foreign exchange earnings.
I don't think there's any state in Nigeria that doesn't have good tourism potentials. We have natural tourist sites in Nigeria. Then when you talk about Dubai, for me they are artificial tourist sites. They are more of they are deserts, not more of. But if we have a government that has the willpower to say that now I'm going to invest into tourism, I don't really think we'll be talking about the oil money. We won't be talking about oil money at all. Oil money will now become the second source of revenue to our country. When you talk about waterfalls, we have them in Nigeria. When you talk about caves, wooden caves, we have them all in Nigeria. When you talk about beautiful rivers, we have them. Like in Abia, there is a popular river we know as Azumere Blue River. That river is an ancient river. If you come to Abia, it's naturally blue. So when you are are there, you just be seeing those fishes live. It's like the one you see in Disney World Island. So what we are just looking at, if the federal government will just come in, you see that place will automatically become a tourist site.
Across the globe, tourism has evolved to become one of the fastest growing industries. With an endowed geographical landscape which comprises the coastal beaches, mountains, historical monuments, wildlife, Nigeria should be able to create a niche in global tourism. Unfortunately, this is not the situation. What are the challenges bedeviling the sector?
One, finance. I think that funds is the actual problem we have as a nation. Because to invest in tourism is capital intensive. You talk about the bad roads. Because if you want to get tourists to your state, first of all, you need to make sure that the roads are good. Then you need to make sure that you have a good hotels that will be able to house those people coming in. That's in terms of hospitality. So other social vices, you talk about the security aspect of it, so that if they come, they will still live the way they came in.
The hospitality sector of the tourism industry seems to be the most competitive area, with the presence of highly rated hotels in Nigeria. But the questions begging for answers are, what are the standards of the hotels in Nigeria, and what is the quality of services rendered?
We should have a directory, hotel directory, across the nation, because that will help us know how to reclassify these hotels. Because there are hotels, there are brotels, there are motels. So we really need to identify these buildings according to the standard. If you are not 5-star, you are not 5-star. Sorry. If you are not 4-star, you are not 4-star. So ability for us to do a thorough documentary about the hotels we have in our nation will even give us codes to whatever we are planning to plan in our tourism sector.
There is need for consolidation on successes recorded in flagship tourist events like the Calabar Carnival, which now attracts up to 50,000 visitors annually. This can be further achieved by training professionals such as tour guides, hotel and resort managers, caterers, taxi drivers, security personnel, among others.
My prayer is that soon Nigeria will come to the reality of what tourism actually is, and they will key in. And I pray that any state that is into it, you see how that state progresses. Like when you talk about the south area, you talk about Calabar, they are doing well, but they know what tourism is all about. So you can't talk about Calabar Carnival every year, they host it. So for them, it's an annual event. So you won't tell me now that there's no Nigerian that have not heard of Calabar Carnival. And Enugu State in the southeast started theirs. Abia did Abia Cantata years back. So you see all these things now, they start coming up. What we learn is better and new things. So by the time you see all these states start practicing all these things, the old pattern of tourism in Nigeria will just die off.
The capability of the tourism industry in Nigeria to generate sustainable revenue that will revive current earnings from crude oil cannot be overemphasized. Therefore, there is need for synergy at all levels of government in creating an enabling environment for tourism to thrive and attract domestic and international tourists.
We really need the government, both from the apex, the middle, and the local government sector, to really come up together with a blueprint. All the commissioners of culture and tourism in state need to really know what they are doing.
As we mark World Tourism Day today, our focus on Weekend Day will be on the tourism sector in Nigeria, challenges and prospects.
Thank you, Francis, and that was totally brilliant. Oyekachi, that's Senior Special Assistant to Abia State Governor. You spoke so brilliantly, and there's been a lot of talking, wouldn't you say? We have been talking. She said at the point that her prayer is that Nigeria will come to realize the great potential in tourism. I think we have realized that is the essence of this package, and we have been talking about it time and time again. I think what we're looking forward to now is the power of harnessing. And as we go to NTA Abuja and they continue to unveil the brilliant and extraordinary tourism sites that they have on show, is still our hope that harnessing, bringing together comes sooner rather than later.
Tourism is one of the fastest growing industries in the world, with an annual growth rate of about 5%. Tourism potentials in Ogun State are numerous, though it is a relatively young but growing industry.
Ogun State is really blessed with a lot of tourism potential. We've got a lot of tourist sites that have a lot of cultural and historical values. We've got a lot of them in Ogun State, and then looking forward to, particularly this administration, looking forward to making sure that we revive most of those tourist attraction centers.
Among the tourist sites are the famous Olumo Rock, Alake's Palace, the Centenary Hall, Bilikisu Shugo Shrine, Yemoji Natural Swimming Pool, just to mention a few. Observations have shown that other tourism centers in the state besides Olumo Rock are not so projected as a must-visit tourist destination. Why is this so?
It is because a lot of those sites have not actually been developed. Understand? And this administration, through the leadership of His Excellency Prince Dr. Abuja Mefa, is key in making sure that we develop most of those tourist sites. So Olumo, it has become an emblem, it has become a name, and so there are other tourist sites that have been left for a very long time, that have been abandoned. But this administration is key, and that is the reason why from the inception of this administration, His Excellency gave release some fund. We went and did some renovations.
One wonders the huge revenue that would have accrued to Ogun State from tourists if the potentials of all the tourist sites are properly harnessed. This would inadvertently increase the GDP of the country now that oil prices are dwindling. Ogun State government, in its quest to diversify its revenue source during the 2019 World Tourism Day, reiterated its commitment to harnessing tourism potentials in the state to create job and increase revenue base of the state. Hence the theme, tourism and job, a better future for all. How then has the government fared in this quest?
Of course, we are going to be much more better than last year. That I am very, very sure of. Despite the fact that COVID is around, it's about innovative, it's about creativity, it's about making sure that you open up all those tourist attraction sites. The hotels are there, the eateries are there, event centers are there, the games are there. So we've got a lot of places, you understand, that we can generate. So we just want to ask for the cooperation of the people. The cooperation of our people is key. If they're not paying their tax, there is no way that we can get development.
It is believed and hoped that as the world marks this year's World Tourism Day and the nation's 60th Independence Day, tourism potentials across the country would be better harnessed. This will not only create employment for the youth who can be tour guides, but also increase the revenue base of the country.
Wow, that was interesting. Coming from Abuja, Ogun State, Nigeria is tourism potential rich. How have we utilized our potentials, grown them, such that it can impact Nigeria's economy? Are we there yet? How have we done that? Are we doing that? Are we in the process? As we gradually, gallantly with extraordinary sophisticated gate march into 60 in Novaria. How are we brandishing the gate that is the tourism sector that is Nigeria, the beauty of our culture, the norms of our people, our rich cuisine, our colorful outfits, our tourism sites. Well, it's time to turn these sites and its great people into resource so that it will impact our economy. We're going to Lagos now, and they're talking about tourism potentials in Lagos, but there must be challenges. That's why it's not bringing about enormous resources. But let's hear from them.
Lagos is the largest city in Nigeria and indeed in the whole of Africa in terms of population. The state also boasts of a seaport, an international airport, and a land border, thereby serving as a main entry point for the rest of the world into Nigeria. As a result of this, Lagos is strategic to the tourism industry in Nigeria, having various tourist destinations and also a rich cultural heritage that can attract both foreign and local tourists to the state.
I go shoot my shot, yo, Joe. So, Joe, baby,
With the advent of the coronavirus pandemic that has ravaged the world economy, leading to the fall in the price of international commodities like crude oil, tourism is one industry that can add value to the country's GDP.
I can tell you after independence, we've been doing so much. That is when we have the National Theatre in Lagos State. And when you're talking about the movie industry, it started in Lagos State. Here you're talking about the entertainment, it all started in Lagos State. If you're talking about the celebrity in Nigeria today, I can tell you 70-75% of them reside in Lagos State. Just to tell you how tourism in Lagos State have been thriving now. And that is why we are developing the domestic tourism in Lagos State. Because we have the population. Many of the tourism assets in Lagos State were not even annexed by the residents, not talk of the people outside the shore of Nigeria. So we are trying to promote all our tourism sites for the population and even the sub-Saharan Africa in general. There are a lot of things. We have our waterway. Lagos State is the state of aquatic splendor.
To harness the enormous potentials in this sector, such as what is obtainable in countries like the United Arab Emirates and other countries with great tourism income, all stakeholders, including the government, must come together to attain the desirable parameters for her growth.
You know, when you allow people to come to your own land, they can set up businesses, and in the course of doing that, they will employ the indigenous of the land, and with that, it will boost our economy.
I don't see it as being in that magnitude of the oil, because I used to this particular product right from time. So it's going to take some time for people to buy that idea. I mean, that tourism can equally fit into what oil is giving us.
Tourism is one of the identified tools to diversify the economy of Nigeria. And this can be done if we all have a reorientation as to how we want to make Nigeria work. First, our security architecture has to be firmed up. The moment we're able to do that, people will be attracted to come to the country, and we will have these dollars and other convertible currencies in droves in the country. And that will certainly, the multiplier effect on the economy will be so enormous.
Hopefully, in the nearest future, Nigeria should be able to boast of a tremendous growth in our economy that is sustainable through tourism.
except for COVID-19.
And issues that affect and can impact Nigeria, tourism, and our nation's birthday focus for today. We just returned from Lagos. Thank you, Lagos, and then we'll move to NTA International, where they're talking about Ijesha Erin, and this coming from Osun State.
Osun State is one of the tourist destinations of choice in the country. Its enviable position as the cradle of Yoruba civilization, as well as the presence of several natural endowments scattered across the state, testify to this truth. Thus, there is no better place to commence our exploration in the state than the fantastic Olumiri waterfall, one of nature's wonderful gifts to the nation. Located in Ijesha, a rustic community that is about 2 kilometers off the Ilesha-Akure highway. The waterfall, which takes its source from the watershed above it, southwest of the Efwalaye ridges, was first discovered around 1140 AD by an adventurous party of hunters led by Yeye Akila, who migrated from Ile-Ife. The journey, which took them 17 days, gave the community its name, Enri, which is an abbreviation of Irin Etadilogun Ojo, while the name of the waterfall was born out of the of the people for the treasure. Olumiri or Olumiro, which means another lord, is clear recognition of this breathtaking endowment. The waterfall is a beauty to behold. First to the 7th level, one is surely assured of an awe-inspiring experience that Olumiri evokes. Basking in the invigorating freshness of the water is an experience many describe as unforgettable. Telling a good story of the natural endowment in the state of Osun will be incomplete without the exploration of the Anyikunuba waterfall at Okela, which presents a sharp contrast to what Olumiri represents. The waterfall is located in Okela-Rogun in Ifedayo local government area of the state. Okela-Rogun, which is an ancient kingdom with a very rich ancestral heritage, is surrounded by a wide range of ridges and gorges, which can easily give a panoramic view of the entire community. Inasmuch as a widening staircase of over 300 steps has been put in place to make descending the slope a bit easy, the fact still remains that climbing provides a good experience for visitors and tourists alike. The name Anyikunuba came about as a result of the experience of a hunter who discovered the place. He was reported to have shot a strange animal called Nuba. The shot animal rolled down and the hunter could not find the animal, but rather discovered the waterfall and named it Anyikunuba, where an animal Nuba rolled and died. The waterfall is notable for its adventurous and breathtaking cliff gorges and associated caves with mythical underground passages. For the local populace, they are of the belief that the more people savor the freshness of the waterfall, the increase in volume of the gushing out of the water. Oke-Laorogun is also blessed with several other tourist sites which can easily turn the entire area into a tourist hub. For instance, the Oke-Lamfo Peak provides one of the soothing sights that any soul could desire during an exploration.
Wow, all the way from Osun State, and a brilliant package showcasing the best of what is on show there for Nigerians and for international viewing as well. How have we harnessed our tourism potentials? Today is World Tourism Day. Perhaps I'll borrow a few lines from Nelson Mandela. He says, what matters is not the life that we have lived, it's the impact that we have utilized our lifetime and lifestyle to make in the lives of others that will determine the significance of our lives. And that's how we'll hand it over now to the president of the Federation of Tourism Associations of Nigeria. And he is Rabo Saleh Karim.
Thank you very
Great
much.
to have you join us on Weekend Day. World Tourism Day. Nigeria is inching closely to its 60th birthday in just a few hours. Less than 144 hours. Nigeria will be 60. How have we made an impact utilizing our tourism potentials to grow our economy, impact our people, impact our continent and the world?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Just like you said, today we are celebrating World Tourism Day, which is a day earmarked by the United Nations Tourism Organization as the whole world is today celebrating tourism. And the theme for this year's World Tourism Day is tourism and rural development. So why rural development? Because we need to develop the rural areas. The UNWTO is looking at it. But
before we go to the theme,
yeah,
Nigeria has had tourism, we always call it tourism potentials.
Yeah.
We have been showcasing since morning our gigantic, beautiful, spectacular tourism sites.
Yeah.
Before you go to this year's theme, before you go to what's going to happen this year, let us go to where we have come from and what we had on ground before. How have we utilized it to make an impact?
Well, Nigeria is a very rich country in terms of tourism potentials and tourism assets, but to say that we have utilized it to the barest minimum, I think we are not really there yet, because there are a lot of things that need to be put in place for us to get to where we are supposed to be. Nigeria is rich in terms, especially with our culture, because when you have a country, you have to really identify what do you have as your principal attraction, what do you have that you need to showcase to the world. So if you take Nigeria as a country, with our rich cultural heritage, that is the thing that Nigeria has as its main tourism attractions, coupled with also other beautiful sites that we have in the country, with a lot of colorful festivals taking place all over the country. All these things, come together and create a very rich tourism atmosphere for Nigeria. That if we harness all these things together and package them together, we are going to have a country that is going to use tourism as a stepping stone in terms of our economic development.
How long are we going to wait for that? You said some few minutes ago that it was a Nigerian who even was at the forefront of this World Tourism Day.
Yeah.
So what did he piggyback on?
Well, they are our founding fathers in the tourism industries in the early 70s and 80s. Chief Atigbe, he was the one who even initiated this World Tourism Day to the UNWTO, and today it's marked, and he's also being recognized as a father of tourism in Nigeria. So Nigeria has been playing a very key role in terms of tourism development and then tourism policies, because we are rich. We have all the potentials, although we have not been able to, in quotes, harness them and utilize them most for the benefits of the country, probably because of oil. Because tourism is a very, very important economic tool that we are supposed to use for development, especially sustainable development of our economy and of our nation. But unfortunately, because we have been over-dependent on oil, we've not been able to utilize these opportunities and these potentials that we have. These are our founding fathers who have been part of the UNWTO, who have been propagating all these things. They had a vision for us that looking at Nigeria with our vast resources from the north to the south, with our landscape, everything we have, and we have positive things that are supposed to work with for us, and we have the population that if we begin to move and promote, even if it is domestic tourism alone, it's going to go a long way to boost the economy.
What Nigerians say, some Nigerians that is, they say some of these tourism sites are expensive, that they should be made more affordable. Some even say that there are enormous challenges that limit their growth and further exposure to the international community.
Yeah, I agree with you, because if you look at it, some of the sites are not even well developed to the standard that they are supposed to be. Because for you to have a good tourism site, you need accessibility to these sites, you need security, and you need to even have some facilities within the sites. Conveniences for tourists if they come, restaurants, souvenir, buying spots for people. So if you check, some of these tourism sites have not been developed to that standard. So for us to get there, we need to provide some of these things at the tourism sites so that we can make them, accessible, we can make them standard so that visitors and even our people alike can be able to visit these areas and make good use of the opportunities that are there.
What about the cost? People say it's expensive, like Abuja Ranch, for example. Many people hear of it, they've dreamt about it, but they cannot make the courageous move to visit and spend time with their families because they say it's not for the common man.
Well, if you look at it from our own context, it's expensive. But if you look at it from an international tourist site, it's not expensive. Because if you look at the rate of exchange for the dollar and the naira for a Nigerian now, if you look at even from our minimum wage, before you make up, save, because for you to go on a tourism holiday, you need to, meet up all your basic needs, food, shelter, and other basic needs, maybe pay your children's school fees and other things. Then the less the disposable income. No. You need to have disposable income. You see, because if you don't have enough money to take care of your basics, you might not be able to partake in tourism activities. I'm not saying that it's only for the elites, because people save. Because in tourism, even if you are a worker, you need to make arrangements. That's why in the European countries, they save to go on holidays. And those are some of the things that we need to encourage Nigerians to save.
How many years will it take some Nigerians to save to go on sponsored tours? But let's leave that. Yeah. Let's come to what is happening this year. You told us about the theme earlier and the role that Nigeria will play.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier on, the theme for World Tourism Day celebration this year is tourism and rural development. Rural development in the sense that we need to develop the rural areas. We need to reduce or curb urban migration so that people will remain in the rural areas. Because if you look at it, and most of our cultural tourism sites, heritage sites, they are all located in the rural areas. So the UNWTO, for them to bring up, they have a wisdom in coming up with that theme. Because looking at it this year, we are in a year that has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected virtually everything in the world. It has affected especially the tourism industry. So for us to be able to move forward and to mitigate some of these effects on the general public, that's the need for us to look at how do we develop the rural areas so that we keep people back at the rural areas. We even reduce congestions of people in the urban areas, thereby promoting social distancing.
Do you have what it takes to work with that? Are you making inroads into actualizing that thing?
Yeah, we are, because if you look at it, even from our constitution, presently today, tourism is in the residual list of the constitution, which means tourism is supposed to be a function of the state. So if it is a function of the state, it means that tourism is supposed to be rural based. Because for us, I've always believed we have a concept that for every village or for every local government in Nigeria, there is what you call there's definitely a tourism site, an attraction there. So we have this theme for one village, one product. So if each village will develop its own product and promote it, it is going to create economic activities within that community.
If, not when.
When you do it,
because that's our theme this year.
Yeah, when you do that, it's going to create activities within the community. Make the youths more viable, make the women and children more viable, because
and that is being set in motion.
Yes, it's been set in motion, and that is part of the thing that the UNWTO is looking at because of the effect of the COVID-19. That is one of the ways we have to use rural tourism to be able to reduce the effect.
As we round up our conversation
on the communities,
what is your dream Nigeria in terms of tourism?
My dream for Nigerian tourism is to see where tourism is flourishing, where the tourism value chain is being felt by everybody in Nigeria, where people are able to move freely to all the tourism sites and enjoy the rich culture, the rich natural resources that God has endowed Nigeria with.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
President Rabu Saleh Karim, President of the Federation of Tourism Associations of Nigeria. It's been great chatting with you. I wish us well, not just in tourism, but in every endeavor, such that Nigerians can move from one place to another and enjoy the cultures and cuisines of our brothers and sisters nationwide. Trending videos. Wale Akane, what you got for us today?
Ele vai encontrar.
You see, I must say to you that I am not one of those your aspire motivational speakers. You see, the things I am coming here to tell you will produce for you magnanimous results, huge results. These are things that have worked for me. And I have 3 nuggets that I would like to share with you. 3 solid nuggets that will change your life. I don't know where I can get this penny of the nuggets. Ask your neighbor. The first thing is this, and I need you to listen very, very attentively. Life in itself is like a jungle. Sorry, it's like you didn't hear me clearly. Life is like a what? Jungle. And when you enter a jungle and you see the lion or encounter a lion, what do? You run. You are wrong. I can categorically tell you that you are wrong. Once you find a lion in the jungle, you analyze the situation. You calm down. After you analyze the situation, you look at it. The moment you notice that he's not looking at you, you grab the left leg and you break it. Break the leg. Break it. It's lion. If you don't grab that left leg and break it, I tell you that is how you'll be running for 600 years in your life. Go through anywhere.
Honestly, it was such an amazing session. I had a good time. The entire crowd was going crazy, you know. And I was
sir. Most speaker. Sir, fantastic speech.
Sorry, but are you looking for?
You don't think it's when we see lion, we should do. So I want us to test it.
I said you should not run for a problem. I didn't say you should not run from Wala.
It's not my. Come now. No, bro.
Suleiman Babaji Osman spent some time with the Director General of the NTDC, Mr. Folorunsho Koka. Domestic tourism, amongst other aspects of tourism, took center stage.
It is World Tourism Day, and we're being joined by the boss of NTDC, that is Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, Mr. Folorunsho Koka. You're welcome to this session.
Thank you very much, Solomon.
Now, I remember in 2017, in one of your first few interviews, probably in NTA, you came in with a lot of vigor, talking about the need to concentrate on domestic tourism. Now, years have passed. How happy are you with the way things have, progressed?
You are correct. In 2017, I said the focus of NTDC should be domestic for now. I felt strongly that it is on a solid foundation of domestic tourism that you can now start to attract the international tourism trade. The domestic tourism trade is 6 times the size of the international. Let me break that down to you a little. How many people go from where they live somewhere else, spend the night, pay for transportation, hospitality, maybe entertainment, and come back to their home using a hotel, transport, etc., versus the people that are coming from outside the country, so domestic versus international. If you look at the value of the domestic tourism, it's huge. But we needed to build on it and build what it requires to thrive, to be sustainable since 2017. So yes, that is correct. Now you hear domestic tourism on everybody's lips. It is fantastic. I am pleased about it. I am pleased because it will encourage Nigerians to consume more of what is available in the tourism ecosystem in Nigeria. It will help build our establishments and therefore our institutions and create a solid foundation. It's on that solid foundation that we will now get the international. International tourism is just an airline ticket that is bought by somebody from abroad that connects to the domestic tourism industry. When we go to Dubai, South Africa, Kenya, what do we plug into? It's just the local domestic tourism businesses that we consume.
But the idea is, how do we get Nigerians to buy into this concept of domestic tourism? Because when you talk about domestic tourism, it involves, movement of people from one location to another to enjoy that which is available in these tourist destinations. And another aspect which I want you to speak to is the fact that how do you encourage domestic tourism when the infrastructure necessary to attract this, movement of bodies, it's not really in place?
When you talk about infrastructure, you are also going to talk about security. So let me take the second one with it before you do. There's no country in the world that does not have a security issue or the other. We don't have a problem. Syria has a problem. We have challenges and we are constantly dealing with those challenges. Every country has them. Nigeria is not the murder capital of the world. Nigeria is not the rape capital of the world. If you've traveled around African countries, you will find that Nigeria has tremendous infrastructure compared. But we're not a small country. We are a populous nation. Africa is the most populous nation. We're also Africa's richest nation. The demands on government here are not like the demands on government on across the continent. So when people make demands of government, I don't see the basis of comparison. Are we where we should be? No. Are we doing badly? We could do better. Can we build on what we have? Definitely yes. Definitely. And World Tourism Day this year focuses on domestic tourism and looks at the rural. Why? For 6 months or so, Nigerians have not been able to go anywhere, and I must say, I am happy that we have been able to stay here. We have kept our hard-earned petrodollars here. We have not needed to change that dollar into sterling. We have not needed to pay for any visas. We have not bought any airline tickets. The airlines are foreign airlines. That means that we have been exporting our sweat and the future of our own domestic tourism abroad.
And somebody will ask, what is the impact of all of this on domestic tourism?
It has helped the domestic tourism. Nigerians love to travel. They have not been able to travel for months. Therefore, the monies that have been expended on roaming charges, on foreign hotels, on foreign airlines, on changing currency, it's either been saved here or it's been spent here. That means, unfortunately, with social distancing, our hotels, etc., have been shut. But people have especially looked at the rural, the outdoor, the visits to the mountains. Hiking, for example, in Abuja is on the up. The visits to this new quarry that was just, the quarry has been there for how many years? 20, 30 years. And it's just been discovered because somebody went there, took a few photographs, and it's now a spot of natural beauty. It's been there for 30 years. People are looking inward. In England, in America, in the Asian countries, domestic tourism is going to be what will kick off even the international tourism. Is what is going to improve the confidence in people coming to them, because they've got to see the right images. They've got to get the right information. There's no post-COVID. It's life with COVID.
But we're all hoping that one day we'll be able to celebrate post-COVID.
Are we celebrating post-malaria?
Okay.
Are we celebrating post-typhoid? And those are not even viral diseases. Are we celebrating post-HIV, which is a virus? So let's just understand that we must reimagine life with COVID. And some people will build up some resistances, I assume there will be vaccines. But to think that this thing is just going to pull a handbrake and we're going to switch back to 3 years ago, no, it's not going to happen like that.
Okay, one other thing that is affecting mostly the private players in this industry is the issue of multiple taxation. And of course, most players are, SMEs, involved here. Now, what can we do differently in order to, just make life easy for them so that their businesses can stay afloat?
They need to speak with one voice. There are too many voices speaking, and that just amounts to noise. There is an association for everything, and all those associations belong to one super association that they don't listen to, especially in the entertainment, hospitality sector. There's a need for them to look carefully and come together and speak with one common voice. It's the taxes that build the infrastructure that those businesses require to exist, the airports, the tarmacs, plus the maintenance of those assets. But I do agree that there's a need to look at the tax structures, the levels of taxes, and where they are charged, and to see what can be done to stimulate domestic tourism at this particular time that the industry actually needs help.
You talk about the need for the private sector to come together and speak with one voice. And then I wonder, isn't there something your corporation can do in order for people to benefit generally in terms of, advocating for their causes?
Yes, we speak to all the associations and we speak to them. That it's time for us all to especially now, to reimagine our existence. Don't huddle together in one box and say you are the Airlines Association or you are the Hotels Association. Come together. You have common interests. You have common grievances. Come together. You already have an umbrella association, which is EFTAN. Come together and speak through EFTAN. One voice. But what we get is hotels have a set of demands, airlines have a set of demands, then their overall umbrella body also comes out with its own statements. And that's a perfect excuse for nothing to happen. I don't regulate the airlines or the associations they belong to, but I've seen the chatter between us for 3 years. And I have said at the AGMs, I have said to them in communications that it's time to speak with one voice and not wild demands. Let's be reasonable. We all know the condition of the oil industry. We all know the condition of the finances of the country. How many people pay taxes? I know you do. I know I do. But how many people? That huge informal sector that generates so much money, how many of them pay taxes? How many of us that pay taxes subsidize those that don't pay taxes? So that's why you will find a lot of complaints within the formal sector like the hotels and the airlines.
Now, one other key area is the fact that most of these tourism destinations in Nigeria are domiciled in these rural areas, and then you begin to think that what is the role of the local government, what is the role of the state government, because it's like everything keeps coming back to the center for the development of these tourist destinations.
We've been spoiled in a way. Anything that happens at the local, state, or federal government, everybody looks at the president. That, hey, this is wrong with me. Bring whatever it is, bring it. And things like that. In tourism, NTDC doesn't own any assets. We don't own. The assets belong to either private individuals, local governments, state governments, and at times the federal government, but not NTDC. It is your responsibility to invest in your asset, to maintain your asset, to make your asset attractive so that you can photograph it in high resolution. It is your responsibility to create a brand out of your asset. That brand is what goes on to global media for people to see and to dream and to want to come to your asset and to go online and book and buy a ticket and actually get on an aircraft and come to your asset. It is your responsibility to do all those things and also ensure that the experience that they have when they come to that asset is an experience that they can take back. It must be positive. So they can echo the positive about you when they go back with the images that they have and attract more people to come to you.
Well, I know you also had, you introduced a particular project, that's Tour Nigeria. I don't know how satisfactory that has been for the corporation.
I think on behalf of the corporation, I think we're quite pleased with what Tour Nigeria has done. Digitally, it has transferred very well. Unfortunately, we have not had the funding to push the the brand the way we would have wanted to. But I think with the focus on domestic tourism, Nigeria, staycations, Nigeria, and tour Nigeria and Nigerian flavors, I think this is the time that the brand is going to do well, because it's about seeing what Nigeria has and exploring the multiple flavors that make up, the Nigerian soul, the fashion, the food, the film, the religion, the politics, the places, the culture, and then add the foreign influences that have just made that melting pot such a... Nigeria is a beautiful place. Nigerians are beautiful people. Go anywhere in the world, walk down the road, and sometimes you don't even need to ask a man, are you Nigerian? From the way he's either sitting in a restaurant, what he's eating, the way he's dressed, you know.
Yeah.
That's a brother. That's the soul that resides in this nation. And you're saying, as attractive as it is not saleable, even to Nigerians? Come on.
Well, of course, in a few days' time, we are going to be celebrating 60 years of our independence. Now, is there any reason to roll out the drums?
Yes. 60. It's a great number. You may feel that Nigeria hasn't achieved much in 60 years, but Nigeria has had its own basket of problems. It hasn't done badly. It could do better, yes. I have a belief in Nigeria because Nigeria is my fatherland. I have a belief in the people of Nigeria because they're my people. I understand my people. I know what makes them tick, what upsets them, what makes them laugh. I know the different types of Nigeria, and in terms of tribe, I know Hausa, I know Yoruba, I know Igbo. I have no problem with anybody's ethnicity or the tribal identity. I think we're a great melting pot. I think we may just need to stop criticizing ourselves so badly all the time.
From all you have said, we have a whole lot to celebrate as a nation. We are a beautiful nation, beautiful people with wonderful tourist destinations. And of course, all that is needed is for us to celebrate these places and visit them, move around, so that at least it will add more value to the GDP. And yes, we have been chatting with the Director General of NTDC, that is Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, in the person of Mr. Florencio Koka. Let's go on a break, and after that, the show continues.
I will round off our package weekend deal today with a quote from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. He says, "We know we're on the right path. Our journey is not finished, but we have come a long way," and we have heard from everyone that we have spoken to, experts in various entrepreneurial endeavors, say that yes, we may not be where we want to be, but we have come a long way. God bless Nigeria. So much to celebrate. Congratulations to us all. Enjoy our program and all the programs you will watch today on the NTA. Let's wrap it up. Have a great week. My name is Thelma Obaza. Bye-bye.